All right, 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM listeners, you already know what time it is, and right here, right now, we actually have the phenomenally talented, independent hip-hop artists on the rise, making waves all throughout the entire music industry. We got CopyRyte right here, live on the line, man. How are you doing this evening?
Good, man. I appreciate you having me in tonight.
Hey, man, I gotta say, it's definitely an honor to have you on the radio station, man. You've been making some serious waves, man, so just being able to chop it up with you, man, is definitely an absolute honor.
Most definitely. Likewise, too, man. It's awesome. I think this is my first time in Canada, on Canada radio, Canadian radio. It's the first time.
Hey, man, like they always say, there's a first for everything, man, but I can say this is definitely the first time, but it ain't gonna be the last time either, man.
Right.
But I know you're a busy guy, CopyRyte, so I'm going to dive right into this interview, man. But I want to take you back to the beginning of your amazing career this far. And I have to ask, man, what originally inspired you just to pursue a career within the music industry initially?
It's kind of funny because back when I was in high school, I was actually part of a rock band at first. And I would write lyrics, and everybody in the group was like, yo, like, what is this? It was too lyrical for a rock band. And so, growing up, I grew up around certain people, and a lot of them were trying to be hip-hop artists. And so at that moment in time, I had ended up taking a loss. I had just lost my mom and my brother in like a 6-month period. So I was trying to figure out a way how to cope with things and deal with it. And I think the first instrumental I wrote to was One Blood by The Game. And it just kind of came out. So then from there on out, I just started picking like pretty much anybody I listened to, their beats that they had on a certain project, and I would just flow off of it. And after that, it just started coming out more and more. I think the first year, I probably spent like $5,000 on studio sessions just to perfect it. Like I got my taxes back that year, and my dad was so pissed. He was like, "I can't believe you blew all your taxes on studio sessions." So I was like, "Well, it is what it is. Whatever."
Hey, but you know what? To him then, he probably thought it sounds bad to say stupid, but I bet you now he's probably glad that his son actually bought that studio equipment, man, because you're a phenomenal artist, man, and you actually get the opportunity to shine all throughout not only America, but also Canada now as well.
Right. Yeah, he loves it. Like I was featured on a magazine. I was on a underground hip-hop magazine, front page with a 4-cover spread, and he just has it framed up in his restaurant now. He's like, yeah, every time I come through, he's like, let's take a picture together, son. And I'm like, yeah, you're a kid. Like, you can do that whatever, but it's understandable.
But also as well, man, on January 26th of 2016, you actually released a single titled Bars featuring featuring Presto. I was wondering, can you tell us a bit more about this single? And of course, how did yourself and Presto originally get connected?
So Presto was actually from my hometown, which is Brunswick, Georgia. He was here, and we just connected. Somebody connected us. I forgot who it was, but they're like, yeah, this cat is lyrical. And this is one of my earlier projects, so this is me kind of coming into everything. And Bars stood for basic ass rappers. Like I'm stuck in the South, in South Georgia, and I mean, unfortunately, around here everything is trap music. It's trap. And so I was one of the only lyrical cats around here that really did stuff like that. So to everybody else, it was just like, yo, like, who is this dude? And then now he's bringing out more lyricists around the city. So when we did that, that was my first official video shoot. Very first one. And we actually shot it in like a storage unit and made it look really presentable. Like, we worked with what we could get. But it turned out to be dope. Like, everybody loved it, and we had fun. And we're actually working on something new recently, because we haven't linked since then, but we just kind of connected recently again, and we're like, yo, we got to do something again, because I know over time, lyrically, we've become more inclined on stuff, and, with our rhyme schemes and bar schemes and everything, so, we're working on it.
And going back to when you mentioned, I remember we actually had a conversation earlier today via Messenger, how you were telling me about how, since you're in Georgia, you're one of the only lyrical hip hop artists. When I say hip hop artists, that is completely separate to, to trap music. But I have to ask, man, because obviously you were telling me a bit about how it was hard to actually kind of like get over in your city, man. I was wondering if you can actually tell our listeners a bit more about that, and of course, how does like trap actually really affect the hip hop culture where you're from?
Yeah, so it's like, if you take somebody like me as a lyricist, and the shows that you have around here, just let's say if I didn't do any big shows yet, I went to one of these local showcases and I tried to do something lyrical. It goes right over their head. And that's something that a lot of them, like, they just can't grasp the concept. When I was growing up listening to artists, I listened to artists like, of course, Royce the 5'9", Crooked Eye, Nas, The Locks. I'm really listening to people, and nowadays, I'm listening to like Joyner Lucas. These are all great artists because they give more. They're more relative, and they give more than just talking about guns, drugs, alcohol, hoes. Pretty much, that's what it is to me. Like, that's what trap music is to me, and it's a bunch of mumble. Like, you can't. Of course, you have your artists that spit fast, but they're still enunciating, and it's more to it. Like, it's more brain power. And so for me being who I am, when I go do local shows around here, it just goes right over their head. Like I said, like, I've tried to put together a cipher before. It didn't work. And it just goes out the window. So that's when I started traveling outside of my region. Because I'm not going to be stuck around here trying to prove myself to a bunch of people that don't care anyway. So I'm also going to reach out. And that's when I started going to New York and Jersey, Baltimore, and it really started getting out there, even the West Coast too. So, I'm really glad that I was able to do that, because I probably wouldn't be where I'm at now.
And I gotta say as well, man, you definitely are a phenomenal hip-hop artist, man. And unfortunately, it sounds bad to say, trap music is definitely never going anywhere, man. But I gotta say, at least you're sticking to what you believe in, man. You're a very talented individual with some phenomenal bars, man. So hopefully your lyricism rubs off on some more artists, man, because you're showing true talent.
Appreciate that.
And also, man, on April 24th of 2020, you actually released the amazing 7-track album titled "If the Shoe Fits." If the Shoe Fits. I was wondering, what is the story and inspiration behind this particular album, and of course, where can we actually buy or stream ourselves a copy of it today?
So as far as streaming or getting a copy, it's everywhere. Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music. All my stuff is out on all the streaming platforms. You can go to Amazon Music, wherever you like. It's everywhere. So I always make sure that all my stuff is available for everybody. Now, as far as If the Shoe Fits, at the moment, I was getting more into, a little bit more commercial things. I was trying to grab concept of a little bit of everybody. So I ended up doing not necessarily, but I kind of did a trap song on there. I had a lyrical record. I did an EDM record on the project. I did like a urban Latin type deal. I had like a mariachi band sample in one of the records on there. Yeah, I just did a little bit of everything, so that way everybody's happy, And also I wanted to see if I could pull that off. So If the Shoe Fits is a cover of me, and it's a whole bunch of different shoes around me, and I'm just like trying to figure out, like, I guess I was having a issue trying to figure out where I belong, because it's like the lyrical stuff just wasn't pushing hard enough for me. And that's when trap was really heavy. It's like, it was just all coming in, and I was like, I hate to conform, but let's give it a shot. So that way, if you listen to my project, you can't say, of course you're going to have your criticism and people have their opinions, but 9 times out of 10, I'm going to have something on there for somebody. And that's what I wanted to reach. I wanted to try to get a new fan base, see if it works, if I got some EDM fans, if they like the song Never Stops, which is the EDM record on there, they might be like, this is really dope. Reach out to me. Hey, you should try to do another one. So that's what it was all about. I was trying to gain a new fan base and reach out to more people to see what I can do. And not only that, but now I can kind of broaden my horizons. So if there's like a show that has something EDM you know, I might be able to pull that off. I might be able to go out there and rock that, you know, or something with a little bit of trap. So now I've been going to Atlanta. I have a record that's a little trappy, so they might pay attention a little more. So that's what it was all about, really, just gaining new audiences along the way and see where we can go next.
And also as well, man, August 28th of 2020, so just a few months after you dropped that phenomenal album, you actually had the opportunity to collaborate with the legendary King Crooked on the song Bend That. I was wondering, what was it like actually just collaborating with Crooked on this particular project? And of course, how did that opportunity arise for you?
So that was definitely one for the books for me. Like, that was somebody I looked up to lyrically. And so I just ended up, you know, I always tell people, use social media. Social media is very powerful, especially Twitter and Instagram. It is very powerful. I was able to reach out. I went onto his page, and I seen he had his email that you can, you know, for bookings and all that, or inquiries. And so I reached out, and then he ended up finally messaging me back actually on Twitter. So, and I told him about, you know, I added his name, and I said, check DM, fam. I appreciate your time. And that's what you got to do. You know, don't get upset if they don't reach out back out to you. They're probably busy. You know, they're all busy. So we started chopping it up, and he said, well, do you have something in mind? And can I hear some of your stuff? And I really appreciated that. He was an artist that, instead of just saying, oh, this is my price, I'm going to take your money, and that's what it is, he took the time out to listen to see if I'm somebody who he can rock with on a record. Because otherwise, if he couldn't, he probably wouldn't even take the breath. He was just like, yo, yeah, you know, it's not really my style. So I ended up sending the beat over to him. And then I worked with the producer. His name is Comedy. He is out in Denmark, the country Denmark. And so he's out there, and I told him what was going on. He was excited about it. He was stoked. And then I finally sent over my verse, and Crook was like, yo. He was like, you were really hanging with me on this one. And I was like, I appreciate that. You know, like, he was excited about it. And so, unfortunately, it was in the middle of COVID, and because we were going to plan to shoot a video. So, but now we're in the works now talking about it, and it's running up very good numbers, even to this day right now. Like, that's my most streamed record under all my playlists. So, and it was, like I said, it was just the greatest thing that's happened to me thus far. I'll say that. So it was, I couldn't even believe it. I was just like, yo, Crooked Eye, I got Crooked Eye on the record. It was just one of the greatest moments I've had.
And I gotta say, I really do hope that you guys actually do that video, because I gotta say, that song was phenomenal, man. So I can only imagine what kind of magic you two are gonna do when you guys are together in the same room.
Right. I've already looked up a few things, and I'll probably fly out to Cali myself and go shoot the video in Cali with them in LA.
And I gotta say, man, honestly, that right there would be phenomenal. Do you have an idea, like, in your mind, obviously, because like, you're out in Georgia, but do you have an idea of where exactly in California you do want to actually shoot the video?
So I've looked at a couple of spaces that do, like, filming and footage, but I want to kind of go along with what's in the record, too. Like when I first came on and I said I was cut from a different cloth, now I'm stuck doing laundry, picking out of these trash rappers every time they respond to me. I wanted to be like in a laundromat first. And like, I'll probably have these t-shirts of some mumble rappers that I'm just shoving in the bags, and I'm just like taking it out of the laundromat or something. You know, like, I want it to really, like, the words to pop out of what I'm doing at the same time. So it's definitely going to have to be really, like, carefully plotted out and planned. But at the end of it, it'll be so dope. Like, I just know it will.
And also as well, on October 8th of 2021, you released the phenomenal song titled Stay Grindin'. I was wondering if you can actually tell us a bit more about this particular release, and of course, like, where can we actually buy or stream ourselves a copy of it today?
So, Stay Grindin', you know, it was kind of based off of a lot of struggles that I started dealing with. You know, it was a lot that went on for the past 2 to 3 years recently, but then it also got me back into when I started dealing with a lot of things growing up and really reminiscing on a lot of stuff that I had to overcome. And so, because like every artist, I've realized every artist hits a depressive state. They do. And I started looking through like videos and guidance through Big Sean, actually. You know, Big Sean was taking a lot. He had a lot going on. And I started following up on these documentaries he was doing about what he was going through with and anxiety and everything. So I had probably writer's block for a hot minute. Like, I couldn't write nothing. I was like, I got to drop something. And I finally stumbled across this beat. I'm very picky with beats. Like, that's one thing I wish I wasn't. I was so picky with instrumentals. But I landed on the one for Stay Grindin'. I hit up the producer, and I linked with him, chopped it up, and then we did business. Got it, went to the studio, I think, the next day. Like, I didn't even fully plan it out. I just kind of just went with it. I was like, I'm going to write to this. I'm going to go tomorrow, and I'm going to do it. And it came out great. And it was funny because that very next week, I had to open for Jadakiss. And that's what was on my mind, because I was like, I'm going to do this song at the concert when I go open for Jadakiss. And Jadakiss gave it a thumbs up. That's when I knew. I was like, yeah, this is a banger. I'm going to run with this one. And so we're going to we're going to be starting a campaign soon with it. Nice promo run with it. And it was, ever since then, that's the song that everybody hits me about. They're like, yo, Stay Grindin' was lit. Like, and it's exactly everything I say in there. It's what's going on. Like, I know a lot of rappers nowadays, they talk about a lot of stuff, and they've never done it. Never. And that's just because they want people to think that certain way about them. And I'm not saying, like, hey, this is a good thing what I did. No. Stay grinding. That's exactly what it is. You got to stay grinding. Like, don't stop what you're doing. Because if you do, that's when you just get yourself further back and further back and further back. So then the more steps you take back, the harder it is to come forward. That's why I always made sure, like, my kids are the reason why I stay grinding. Because I want to make sure they have whatever they need. I don't want them to ever ask, Dad, can I get this? No, you already got it.
And also as well, on July 30th, you actually had the opportunity to open up for the legendary Fabulous in East Rutherford, New Jersey. I was wondering if you can actually tell us a bit more about this particular concert. And of course, did you get the opportunity to meet Fabulous before or after the concert?
Yes, that was the biggest show I've ever done so far. I got some coming up, but the show with Fabulous, it was Fabulous, Jada Wada, and Ari the Don. Honestly, I wasn't really worried about the other two. Like, I was really focused. I was like, yo, this is fab. Like, this is fab. This is somebody I grew up listening to. And it's a pool party inside of a mall that has a water park. I was like, this probably is going to be the most epic situation I've ever been a part of. And then they already said, sold out. I said, wow. It was like 3,000 tickets. And they had sold out, like, way before the show was even coming up. So I went, I performed, and Fab was actually walking in as I was performing. And I was like, man, this is dope, you know. And Hot 97 DJs came over to me, and then I had an all-access wristband. So he came up, and then I was like, why is everybody looking at him so hard? And it's so funny because then Meek Mill, he brought Meek Mill with him. And I was like, yo, this is even better. So meeting not only Fabulous, but Meek Mill, the only thing I hated is I ended up going to this show by myself. I learned my lesson. I should have brought a portable charger for my phone because I was taking so much footage. My phone died in the middle of the night. So, like, the epic time I was having, like, Fabulous ended up chopping up with me in VIP. We're sitting over there. He poured me a glass of Ace of Spades. Meek Mill was like, hey, that was you up there? I was like, yeah. He's like, you did real good, man. You know, a lot of people don't get this opportunity. He's like, just know people are watching. He's like, keep doing what you're doing. He's like, that's exactly what I did. He said, I know it's a little tougher now. He said, but keep going. He was like, what you got lined up next? Started telling what I got lined up next. He was like, just don't stop. You're already this far. Fabulous looked at me. He said, I'm going to see you again. I guarantee it. And just hearing that come from somebody, like one of the legends, saying that I'll see you again, that meant a lot to me. That means he's watching me. And they're watching me. Everybody else is watching me. So I have to make sure I'm on my A game 24/7.
And I got to say as well, man, because I do know that we spoke earlier, and I remember you mentioned that you actually are going to be opening for the Locks actually coming up in October. From what you're allowed to speak about, because obviously the concert is a little ways away, could you tell us a bit more about what our listeners can expect from the CopyRyte portion of this concert? And of course, man, like how can we actually secure ourselves some early tickets?
So you can definitely go on eventbrite.com. Also, the promoter, Big Mike the Ruler, he is awesome. He's always booking dope artists, like always. I wish I had time to catch the French Montana one. That would have been awesome. But, yeah, I'll be open for the Locks October 7th. And that is also in New Jersey, at Elizabeth, New Jersey, at the Ritz Theater. So that's going to be epic. I've been chopping it up. You know, I've already opened for Jadakiss. I've already opened for Chic Luch. I just recently did a cipher for Shady 45 at Vinny Idol's studio, which is the Locks producer. He produces for a lot of people, but mainly for the Locks. And so I'm actually currently working with Vinny Idol right now. Won't speak too much on it, but we're working on a little project, and we're trying to get DJ Green Lantern involved. So I spoke to Green Lantern earlier today. So I'll be going up to New York for a weekend, and then he told me, he said, I want you to come to the studio and record this. So we're going to see what happens. He told me a little info. I'm not going to share too much because I don't want to even ruin it for myself yet. But hopefully, whatever we're working on, I'll be able to actually present this October 7th. It'll be dope. You know, I'm kind of working around in that D Block area a lot lately, so hopefully we're going to get some things moving within D Block.
And also, I actually read on Facebook that you actually have an album on the way titled Reverse Psychology, The Waiting Room. I was wondering, what can our listeners actually expect from this up-and-coming album? And of course, what's the estimated release date of this particular project?
So I'm looking at early 2023. This is a project I've kind of been working on for a minute. I was going back and forth between what I'm going to do. I had to do some beat shopping. Just the project I'm doing with Vinny Idol, actually, I will be releasing it on that project. Reverse Psychology is something that that was a mixtape, actually, that I did back in the day when I first started. Reverse Psychology, the mixtape, was a project that it really put my name out there. That's when I found out who CopyRyte was. And the front cover was actually me as a person, as my government name, staring into the mirror, and the reflection was CopyRyte. So it's almost like an alter ego type thing. So then what I ended up doing was on If the Shoe Fits is a song called Out of My Mind. I have a music video for it. It's out on YouTube on my page. And it's actually me as the therapist, and I'm going back and forth with myself. So, like, it's this crazy back and forth talk as a therapist, but also to the patient. And so that's when I landed on, I said, you know what? Everybody really found out who I was in Reverse Psychology. So I think I'm going to make this kind of like a branch off. I'm going to start doing a bunch of different ones. So Reverse Psychology, The Waiting Room, I'm actually going to be doing a front cover of, it's going to be a bunch of different versions of me, like in a doctor's office, like waiting to get his name called. Like even when the doctor comes out with the coat, with the lab coat on, with the clipboard, it's going to be me. So it's like me versus me. That's what it's going to be. And like I look at myself as my own worst enemy. Like I am my own competition. So the person I have to defeat in this whole situation is me. If I want to get where I need to go, I need to go against myself. That's how I look at it. So I'm the only person that can slow myself down. So we're going to give this thing a go. So Reverse Psychology is definitely anticipated by a lot of people that know me and a lot of fans. And they're going to get what they want. Like I can promise that. Some of the features I got lined up on this already, they're going to be like, wow. Like he pulled that off? Wow.
And also, aside from this brand new album coming out early 2023, and of course the concerts you got coming up and the work with the Locks, what is next for yourself, CopyRyte? Is there anything we happen to miss during tonight's broadcast? Anything else you do still want to talk about or promote? We still got you here live on 97.7 FM this evening.
I'm actually definitely working on, I just got word earlier today, I was going to wait till I got on here, I might be working on an international tour, a couple spots in Europe for about 2 weeks. So that's why I always tell all my artists, hey, get your passport. You never know. Like, artists blow up overseas faster than they do in the U.S. Always. I've always noticed that. And so I've been talking to a couple promoters internationally, trying to see what we can come up with and, agreements. And so we're working on that, and I hope that's going to be one for the books, because that'll be awesome to go tour for like 2 weeks out of the country. I miss my kids, but it's going to be for the better. It's going to be for a brighter future.
And also, CopyRyte, this is the time in the interview quickly that I give a chance for the individual that does slide into the radio station airwaves, just a chance to give, shout-outs to whomever they want to give shout-outs to, but most of all, your social media handles. That way our listeners can follow you and stay updated on everything CopyRyte if they're not already doing so.
Definitely. So I made it simple for everybody. Every single social media, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, everything you can find is at The Real CopyRyte. That's THAREALCOPYRYTE. And I definitely want to give a shout out to a few people. I got a shout out to my man Trig the Don. That was the first studio I ever recorded at. He coached me how to go through this, and he worked with me privately and made sure I got it down pat. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have got a lot of stuff done. Wouldn't be at where I'm at today. Shout out to my producer, one of my producers, Better Beats. Awesome. He's flawless with it. Also, my other producer / my right-hand man, Flyboy Breeze. Shout out to Cut the Red Tape Entertainment, my DJ Stitchy. There's so many more other people, I promise. But I just got to keep it short. But they know who they are. They know, they've always supported me. I got them. Shout out to all the supporters and fans. I appreciate y'all. That's the reason why I keep going on this journey, and we're not going to stop.
And I got to say, first and foremost, CopyRyte, thank you so much, man, for just giving us a bit of your time here this evening and sliding into the 97.7 FM radio dial, man. It was definitely an honor and most definitely a privilege just to chop it up with you, man. And definitely when this new album comes out in early 2023, make sure you slide in my DM, man. We definitely got to get you back here on Outlaw Radio FM.
Yeah, definitely, man. Shout out to Outlaw Radio. I appreciate you guys having me. Shout out to Canada. I'll be up that way soon. I told you I'm coming to Toronto or Montreal for a little weekend, so I don't know which one yet, but we're going to go.
Hey, man, it doesn't matter what one. I've been to both, and I'm itching to go back to either one, man. So if you're there, let me know. I'll definitely slide on through.
Bet. I appreciate that.
Hey, man, you are most certainly welcome, man. I'm pretty sure we definitely shall talk soon, but for now, man, definitely enjoy your night. And, of course, have a phenomenal week as well, man.
All right, same to you. Appreciate it.